stuff. So
Oh, I
yeah.
love it. I love it. You're going to hydrate. I love it. Welcome to the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. I'm John, and this is our brother Scott. How you doing today, Scott? Hydrate up.
Hydrate up. I was trying to get in some mountain bike session in up here at the PNW,
Okay.
and trying to get to that upper level of the Red Bull
Yes,
Madhouse Challenge when they go to Utah and they do all the backflips.
if you say
Um,
so.
yeah, yeah. Well, went riding with a good friend of mine,
Okay.
and I tell him, "Hey, dude, you're starting out. Take your time. Don't ride over your
Go
head.
slow. Go slow.
Go slow, not too slow because then you wreck. It's a
Yeah.
fine balance.
Hmm.
Blah 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 blah." So we go down and about the fourth turn in.
You do this for fun, right?
Yeah, I do this for fun. Like
Okay. Yeah.
I
I
don't
didn't.
normally.
I didn't know if this is part of your parole. Okay. Continue,
Hey,
please. Oh,
hey,
sorry.
hey!
I didn't.
I
I
gotta
didn't
make
mean to get.
sure there's no. We don't got no advertisement
I don't
sponsorship
want you
yet.
going to San Salvador. Continue,
Yeah.
please. Yes.
Hey! Do I look that Mexican?
No.
Okay. Um, so anyways, we go down and I'm doing my thing and feeling pretty good. And I go into a turn and I just halfway through, I start pressing my mountain bike in to get the speed up. And
Mhm.
that front tire decided to cross out and I full on just planted. And I think my wife thinks I have like a ruptured, broken rib or
Mhm.
bruised rib. She thinks I
Mhm.
got a punctured lung. you know, yeah, I
Mhm.
can't take deep breaths, and it sure hurts when I do this, and climbing into the car hurts. But
When you climb into the car, it hurts. When you get into bed, it hurts. Yeah, that's probably a sign you need medical attention. Yes, continue, please.
so it hurts when I laugh. So, so I'm like, all they're gonna do is give me Tylenol.
Right.
Typical dad, grandpa
Sure.
response. They're
Sure.
just gonna give me Tylenol. They're not.
Right.
And then I get the, I get the, you need medical advice from our people, you know,
Yes. Mhm.
and you need an X-ray, you need this, and
Mhm.
and my wife's a nurse, my daughter's going to be a pharmacist, and they're just telling me, we love you, Dad. We want you in there.
Yes.
We want
Want
it
you around for a
all.
long time.
And I'm like, I'm fine. And then this morning,
There we go.
I, you know,
Reality. Reality.
the wife said I made you an appointment at 12:20.
Oh,
So
God bless that beautiful
yeah,
human being.
I'm going in at 12:20 to see
You
what's
know,
going on.
to give everybody a little backdrop here, I've known Scott. I've been lucky enough and blessed enough to know him and his beautiful family for 25 years, give or take. And we came out of the construction industry and we were, I don't know if it's mind control, formed, bred, whatever you want to say, uh, co-opted into if you're hurt, you just go to work anyway. I mean,
Yeah,
and it is so hard to leave that mentality. And you see it in the sports arenas. And I
yeah,
do say I do like the Gen X. I'm one of the few old people who says that at least they're acknowledging what their body is telling them instead of
yeah,
the hey, push through it and literally destroy your career.
yeah, yeah. Hey,
And it's hard.
walk it off. Walk it
Yeah,
off.
walk it
Walk it
off,
off.
right? Put
Walk
some
it off.
spit on
Well,
it.
what does
Put
that
some
do? Oh,
I know, right? Some spit and dirt. Remember that?
yeah,
I don't know.
you
Now
know,
I just have to take a shower.
you know, it's just a little dirt, spit on it, rub it off. It's like, yeah, me walking 5 feet away, 10 feet away from where I originally got hurt, that the pain's
Hobbling,
gone.
hobbling.
The pain's gone.
Yeah,
You know,
right. It's all better now. Yeah, right.
peace and
Oh,
love. Peace and love.
peace and love. Well, I hope you feel better
Uh,
soon, my friend.
hey,
You know.
I didn't give up a 5-stroke lead on the golf course. Maybe I should have on the golf course. It might have been safer.
Oh my gosh, that was such a glorious train wreck. I mean, it was like watching Jerry Springer. I mean, the guy, he got down and then he got up four and then I'm telling you, I don't know how much you watched. That chip on 13 to the par 5 was a chip even me and you would look at each other and go, "Who did that?" Like
Right.
he had a 50-yard chip and he missed it by 15 yards. And I'm like, this is the best player in the world, man. How does that
Yeah.
work?
Uh,
Right?
yeah. I live. Whoa, what's going on?
Whoa, whoa,
Showing
whoa,
off some
whoa. Yeah,
new
I know, I
kicks
know.
going on. You showing
Yeah.
off new kicks?
Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff going on here, kid, in
Yeah, I
Southern
know. I
Cal.
could
But I
see
mean,
it.
I looked at it and it was like, how does he not par the last hole? I mean, that's what you have to do. Oh, hey, let's go here, let's go in the sand trap, and let's miss the 5-footer. I'm like, what?
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
How do you do
It's
that?
it's just like when we golf. My son
Yeah.
points out the where my
Well,
ball's at somebody's lady's house.
yes, God bless. That is a story we are definitely going to get into in the dog days of summer because that story with your awesome son was literally one of the funniest things I've ever seen on a golf course. But Rory got it done.
Finally,
God bless
put
him. Finally,
put
finally, he
put
did
the
everything.
green put that green jacket on. Whoa, we lost Jay. Well, hopefully he comes back. It was amazing to see. What was amazing to see is how that when he went to win, like how he drived off, and it was similar to Tiger Woods ball
Right.
placement and everything. Did
Nah,
you notice
no,
that?
not really. But it makes sense. Makes sense.
Oh, there's these new there's these new things called
Oh,
YouTube
huh.
and TikTok and Instagram. You
Scott,
should really see it because they got
Scott,
some
Scott,
highlights that
Scott.
show that.
I got to be honest with you. That's just a passing fad. That YouTube stuff. That's just for the kids.
Oh,
I am still using carrier
yeah,
pigeon and telephone and telegraph. Okay, look, it's gonna come back.
right.
I'm telling you. I'm telling
The boob
you, it's
tube.
coming. All right, MySpace is
Yeah,
coming back.
yeah.
Justin Timberlake is bringing it back. Okay.
Hey, he brought sexy back. He'll
Oh, you
bring
sure will.
MySpace back.
I want to
Yeah.
say, you know, and I really don't want to bring politics into this, and I'm not, but we live in an era where a lot of stuff is going on in the ecosphere, okay? And we had a gentleman, there's an administrative error, and he's in a prison in San Salvador. And when I was watching Bristol yesterday, I was thinking, at least, even though he's in a prison, he doesn't have to watch this race. It was that boring. Oh, hey,
Woo!
sorry. Whoa, whoa.
Woo!
I
Woo!
watched that race,
Hey,
Scott, and
hey,
literally I wanted to claw my own eyes out. Please give me some hope. Give me some
hey,
hope here,
hey,
buddy.
hey, hey! If you're a bow tie guy, you loved every minute of it. Okay.
Okay.
You being a Ford lover, you hated that race. You know, it's like the Cubs and the Dodgers, right? Wasn't that
Yeah.
13-0
Okay.
swooping 16? I think they're still
They
scoring
might.
on that
They
game.
might.
You know, this is the problem that I was talking about. Bristol. They tried changing it up, and you don't got the high line, the low line. It's like it. The track is just dramatically changed, and these computer simulations, they're hitting it out of the park. The biggest talk about was Ken, he didn't do what Kyle Busch is still the only person that's done it. Race all three races and win all three in the weekend. He came in
Yeah,
second,
I know.
poor guy,
Right.
on the trucks.
Right.
Poor guy, right? Poor guy. He didn't get that one trophy. And then he wins on Saturday and then he wins on Sunday. Just
Destroyed
destroyed
them.
everybody. Denny Hamlin hit the wall trying
Right.
to keep up
Right.
with them. I mean, at least Joe Gibbs actually showed up, the little kid. He finally was able to finish the race. Ryan Blaney, I guess they do got it right. I I said he's the champion. That's why they were giving good odds.
Yep.
He was up there. Briscoe. My guy McDonald Donald did not show
Okay.
up, but whatever. Um, but this is just going to show you that they tried changing Bristol. They screwed it up. But is it that they changed it, or that the cars are just that much faster that they could
I
dominate?
I think I think you're absolutely onto something. And that's why I say make sure you like and subscribe so you can get Scott's actual insight instead of my blabbering stuff on motorsports. But for
Right,
some
right.
reason, we have some of these classic tracks, and the Gen X car, in my opinion, seems to have made them incredibly irrelevant, like Fontana was.
Yeah, yep. Well, okay, but Fontana with the new Gen 7
Right.
car or Gen
Yes.
6, whenever
Right.
they raced when it was around, it had one of some of the best racing that
At
it
the
ever
end,
had,
at the
because
end,
that
at
car
the
is
end.
designed. Yeah, that car is designed for that high pressure to push the car down and get around that speed. Where when you join in the short tracks, it's mechanical,
Okay.
right? So you're relying on mechanical more than air. Where in the air, you need the spoiler, you need it sucked down,
Right.
to get the down, on the back of the as you're going on the back straightaway, you want the back of the car to sit down so the wind, gets underneath, that pushes you down and you get more speed. In on the short tracks, they're relying on more setup of shocks and everything. That's why the smaller tier teams usually show up at these racetracks
Okay.
for a little bit, you know. And like we said at Daytona, they show up because it is really up to the driver. But you know, having said that, like if you're sitting in a computer simulated and they're able to set up this car with all the shocks and everything and mimic that track that well, there's no way of a lower tier team can
Sure.
keep up now. I mean, they're wiping
They
them
are.
out. I've said from the beginning when we started this, I told you, Joe Gibbs Racing, Hendricks, and Penske. After that, everybody's
Right.
fighting to try to
Right.
be up at the top. Who, you know, then who hasn't? What other teams won
Josh
this year?
Berry. I mean, Wood. I mean, well, but yeah,
He's
I
part of
know. I know.
Penske.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
part of
Okay.
Penske.
Okay. Okay.
Let
Don't look.
yeah.
Look. I'm just the
Okay. Okay.
messenger. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Like F1, Red Bull. Yeah. Somehow they got four teams. We're able to. Hey, Liam,
Yeah.
you're going down. Liam, you're
Okay.
coming up. Yoki, you're
Yeah.
going
God
down.
bless Yoki. Let me ask you a question. And this is, I didn't really get an
Yes.
explanation from Fox, and maybe I just don't understand the blabbering that goes on in that idiotic booth.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
how in practice did the tires only last 40 laps, and then in the race they lasted almost 100? 100. Why is there such a difference in the practice versus when they actually get to racing?
Because in practice, you're just hot lapping it and you're pushing it to the very limit because you want to see what the
Okay.
car can do. Right. And then they find out, okay, this is how the tire is
Okay.
wearing off. And then it's up to every one of those drivers to go, okay, are we going to just kill the speed and just get out and just be the rabbit? Or are we going to be the turtle? And last season, they came and there was rabbits and they just went out and all of a sudden they just
Right.
fell like a rock. They were nowhere near. So now they're aware of, hey, this is the pace we need to run, and this is what we're going to make it that we're going to make it
Mm.
long term. And and it goes back to old style racing that, you got to conserve your tires. If you ever went to your local short track, you know, you got some no name Robbie guy coming up and
Yeah. Right.
you know, he's burning up his tires. And then he's looking at his dad going, hey, spend more money. And his dad says,
Yeah.
well, we can only afford four
Right.
sets of tires. Here in NASCAR, you get the lease out your 10 sets. And then it's like, okay, we got 10. Let's come up with our
Yeah.
strategy. That's what's going on. If you looked at what practice speeds were compared to racing speeds, they're considerably lot lower. You
So
know that's how
okay.
you save tires. It's
All
all
right.
about saving
So
tires.
Hamlin and Larson have finished 1, 2, 7 times in their NASCAR careers. This is the first time that Larson came out on top. Hamlin is on fire, but he unfortunately got second for him. Larson dominated, it's just what
Yeah,
it is, right? All right. Go
yeah. I
ahead.
mean, no, I just Joe Gibbs Racing. Just it seems to be that they're
Right.
par win two and they
Right.
come in
All
second.
right. And this is actually the sports highlight or the motorsports highlight of the weekend. Tony Stewart won the NHRA in Vegas this weekend. Congratulations to him and his team.
Yeah, top
Yep,
top
top
fuel,
fuel. Yeah,
top fuel.
Richard Petty style.
Yeah, his wife. Yeah, yeah. Well, he's won a little more than Richard Petty. Let's get that straight.
Wow, wow! Don't be disrespecting the king. Are you
What? Hey,
disrespecting the king here? Well, Scott, I
hey,
don't.
dude,
You know what? You know what,
dude.
Scott? When you go to the doctor, check for some CTE because you're not talking. You're talking crazy.
Right?
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. Crazy guy. Uh, As my grandson
Oh,
calls,
God
crazy
bless
guy.
him. God bless him. All
You
right,
know what I mean?
and then let's go
Uh,
across the ocean to F1 in Bahrain. Actually, it's a momentous day because I actually picked the winner. Wow.
Finally,
Finally. The
finally,
blind pig
finally.
found a truffle. Yeah, exactly. Throw the dart. Throw the dart. Back in my unexplored youth, I used to get a map out and I used to close my eyes and I'd throw a dart, and wherever it hit, that's where I'd go on vacation. Unless I really didn't like it, then I'd throw the dart again.
Ah,
Hey, what are you gonna
yeah.
do? But
So, sounds like our old employer about what job we
yes,
would go to.
exactly. God bless him. May he rest in peace. Oh God. So we got Piastri and McLaren, Russell with Mercedes, and Norris with McLaren. It was a dominant weekend for McLaren.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to go against the grain, but McLaren still had it. They held their cards really well. I didn't understand the starting though, because Lando was past the line and they were making a big old stink about it. Like, that's a like $2 million car. Do you not have reverse? Like, you can't back it
Amen.
up a foot or two?
Amen. And he got a 5-second penalty for that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's not a radio like, hey, bro, like pushing the clock, roll back a little bit. Like, whoa, what? Why? That don't make sense to me. How stupid
It
is that?
honestly, and I'm gonna say we are getting into F1. I
And they
didn't
do have
understand it.
reverse.
I
They do have reverse because remember, Oscar went into in Australia. He went into the grass and it was
right.
so wet that he wasn't able to go, and they were making a big
He
old
was
thing. And
walking
then he was
back
like,
and
"Oh,
forth.
I learned
Yes.
how to drive it."
Hmm.
Yeah. Then he said, "Oh, I learned how to drive a tractor backwards, so I
Right.
tractored it out
Right.
backwards."
Yeah.
So they do have reverse. Like, so where's the radio communication? Like,
Yeah.
everybody sees it.
I
I mean, unless it's some rule about once you stop, you stop. I
but
mean,
it just doesn't make
come on
sense.
now.
I mean, you go off the
I mean,
track, you can do whatever you want.
yeah,
I mean.
yeah, yeah. I don't get
So
it. I don't get how that was a mistake. I really don't get it. Like,
signs and wonders, buddy.
I don't
All
know.
right. Let's talk about
Yeah,
you alluded to earlier. Liam Lawson at Red Bull was given 2 penalties for causing a crash. And you know, this guy is just trying to get to the team. He's on the B team.
yeah,
He's maybe going to be on the C team. Like you alluded to, they got, I don't know, 8 drivers. I don't know what they really got. And,
yeah,
I
yeah.
will say
I'm
this.
still.
I don't know. Maybe you know a little more than I do. In the Indy series or NASCAR, I don't know. Do they give penalties for causing a crash? Okay.
Indy does.
Okay.
They do have a
Okay.
safety person.
Okay.
They do
All
do
right.
that. Yes. NASCAR, NASCAR, they're giving out bonuses.
You wrecked them. Good for you. God bless him. We're going to salute him at the
For
drivers'
you,
meeting.
yeah. You wrecked them. You gave us something to talk about for all the weeks, on all the
Exactly.
podcasts. You know, should he be fired? Should we do that? Da, da. Wait a minute. Grandpa owns the pilot station that's on his car. We'll be okay.
So, 4 rounds into the F1 season, here we got our standings. We got Norris at 77 points, Piastri at 74, Verstappen at 69, and Russell at 63. The next guy, now wait,
Wow.
check this out. The next guy is Leclerc at 32. So even though we're only 4 rounds in, there is a bloody huge gap. I mean, to
Yep.
me, it's one of these 4 guys, and I'm not really believing in the Russell thing with Mercedes. But I mean,
Right.
he's been on the podium, right? To me, it's three
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
and I gotta say,
Yep.
you've called it. You said it before the year, and I want to give the devil his due. You said McLaren was the team to beat. I still believed in the Red Bull thing, and
Yeah.
you're looking at the points, and you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Red Bull has issues. They've had it for the
Yeah,
last couple of years. They were just Verstappen was able to hide it. It's kind of like when Jeff Gordon was like Chevy wanted all these changes
right.
back in the day because Fords were dominating everywhere, and they're like, yeah, but Jeff Gordon's winning, and he won the
Yeah,
championship. Like, there was the only one Chevy that
right.
had it figured out. Like that's where Verstappen's at. He's like the only guy that's figured it out and able to drive through it. But I think it's gotten to the point that it's fallen
Sure.
off. Now you're hearing that he might be going to another team or he might be pulling somebody from McLaren. It's pretty funny how silly season works. They're like
It's
weekly.
it is literally like a soap opera. on the highest level, and the rumors start.
Yeah.
And I remember last year when Verstappen's dad came out and was unhappy with Nico Horner at Red Bull, and everybody started opening their eyes and going, "Uh-oh, we got problems here." Because the
Yeah.
contract
Yeah.
is,
He's going to,
look, they signed for huge contracts, make millions and millions of dollars, but that contract isn't worth the grass right behind me. It is literally, tell
yeah.
Liam Lawson, I'm sure he had a contract. See you later. Good luck. We'll just by pay you.
Yeah.
And Verstappen, if he wants to leave, he's leaving. Hey, Lewis Hamilton, I'm tired of this. I'm going to Ferrari.
Yeah. Which devil, you know, the devil you
Yes.
don't know, right?
Yeah.
Look at Ferrari. I really thought Ferrari was going to be
Yeah.
pretty fast, like starting the deep dive. And I was like, wow, Ferrari has something. And
Yeah.
he's still,
He's still trying to
you
figure it
know,
out.
five to 10, right? He's running fifth to 10th.
Yeah. He
He
hasn't
hasn't
cracked
cracked
it.
that where
He's
he's up there
below
at the front.
Leclerc at 32 points. I mean, I think he's at
Yeah.
25,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
He's looking, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like his average place is like fifth to
Yeah.
10th spot,
Uh,
minus whatever penalties they
right.
decide to give him.
So we're going to probably do a deeper dive on this on Wednesday, but the NHL season is coming to an end. And I'm just going to
Uh,
bring up one little point. We just want to focus on one little point. It's the first time that four of the original six hockey teams in America did not make the playoffs in the same year. Boston, Chicago,
yep.
the Rangers, and Detroit.
Yep.
What do you got to say?
Yeah. That Boston team, man, they make some great choices, don't
It
they?
literally, they're like
Huh?
suicide
Huh?
bombers.
What?
Okay. All
Huh?
right.
Yeah.
Beat up my
Yeah.
Bruins.
Yeah. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for this for a long time. We're finally teeing up at the same time at the end of the year. Your Bruins and my Ducks are finally not in the playoffs together. I've heard for
Yes, you have.
years
Yes, you
about,
have.
hey, when's the Ducks come on? I've heard that for years. Well, I was so happy when they like lose in the first round. Like,
Yeah. The most points
this is the
ever.
best.
And then Florida whacks them.
Yeah.
Right. But the great thing
Hmm.
about the NHL is we're just going to replace the coaches. And don't worry, we're not going to get new
Yeah.
blood in. We're going to get
Yeah.
the guy, we're going to get
No.
Tortelli, or we're going to get some guy who's a retread
Yeah.
15 times over.
Yeah. Yeah. Go put your time in at
Right.
ESPN or TNT, and then we're gonna tap you on the shoulder to get you back. Like, all right, your contract's up. Let's come over here back in. Um, it is very sad, to see that those originals
Yeah.
not make it in. Um, the salary cap is really messing with them. But it's there. This balance of the old guard and the new guard coming in, and this, that, and the other with the salary cap. That's why they got to do it. And you're really seeing that Boston just waited too long.
Hmm.
Detroit
Hmm.
waited too long. Detroit's still thinking that they can pull out with the cane and do all this. Um, the younger we're seeing the evolution of the younger kids that are trying to they're going to kick the older guys out eventually. They're not worth the $8 to $10 million that they're getting. They're not. The pain and everything that you got to play through is totally different. In hockey, and I think it's just they just got passed up finally.
That,
I think it
yeah,
finally
you're
happened.
absolutely right. That is the hardest thing in sports when you're a general manager and you're Fedorov in Detroit or whatever. Do you go one more
Yeah,
chance for a ring? Because getting close to getting a ring is so bloody hard. Do you keep the band together and literally set your entire program back 2 or 3 years? Because now you got to dismantle and you didn't give the kids the opportunity to come up and get seasoning. I mean, it's a constant
yeah,
battle.
yeah, yeah. It takes 6 years, 6 to 8 years to
Sure.
rebuild your team.
Right.
Honestly, unless you're Vegas and you're like, oh, so and so Stone, you're on the IR because you're
Right.
back. Wink, wink. I call you're on
Tampa
your
Bay.
because of
Tampa
this, and the
Bay.
next thing you know, yeah, Tampa Bay was the
Yeah.
first one that did it.
Hmm.
You know, and, and it's like we're going young, and then it comes to the playoff time, and all of a sudden the old guys that can do the beat down and
Right.
have the skill, they're the ones that show up
Right.
and they pay. And they get rid of the
Right.
young kids. They get put on the
Right.
third and fourth line. You know, you know, but
That
that's how
is.
hockey is, unless you were in the '80s and it was super
Right.
fast, and they're trying
They
to get
are.
back to there.
I applaud
Right?
them for it. They're trying to
Yeah,
get more speed and skill. And like we've had this discussion before, The great thing I like for it is that it allows smaller players with great athletic ability to come back into the league. Before it was a more physical
Yeah,
league and they got beat up so bad, you know,
yeah.
I think it makes for,
Yeah, but you're seeing it
yeah.
with Bedard. You're seeing Bedard. He's
Hmm.
imploding. Like the kid. Well, plus the Blackhawks are just not.
Yeah.
It's horrible. He has not had a standard line with him
Yeah.
since he's been there. He can't get no flow. You know, he doesn't get no chemistry because they get rid of somebody or
Right.
they move on. I mean, their captain or somebody retired at
Right.
the last game, and he's like, "That's
Yep.
it, deuces.
Yeah.
I'm out of here." And it's like that's yeah, there goes another guy for Bedard. Like, or just put the C on the kid and just let's go all
Yeah,
young.
I get
You
it,
know,
but
that would
I get where you're at. But when you have theoretically a generational talent like that, they also need a mentor. And I don't think Chicago has that guy everybody respects in the locker room that he can look up at.
yeah,
Okay,
Perry.
yeah, Corey Perry, right? Somebody like that, right? You,
Well,
yes, go
you
ahead.
know the story was is that Corey Perry was sleeping with Mama
Oh, I didn't know
Bedard,
that. Oh, I didn't know
and
that. Okay. Oh.
and she's a
We're
great
trying to keep
Christian
this
woman,
G-rated. Okay,
and
continue, Scott. Yes.
yeah, and that
Okay.
happened. They're bumping
Okay.
uglies possibly, and then And then it came out that no, he was getting drunk and
Oh
beating up
well.
the one of the workers for
Oh.
Blackhawks. So they put him on the timeout and they said, "Hey, you need to like not be that way. Play an aggressive sport, but be
All
loving
right.
afterwards." So he did his little due diligence, his little time, found
God
love
bless.
again and peace. They gave him a blue
Mm-hmm.
hat, and they put the Oilers on it.
Oh, see, you wouldn't want to be a
So you go from this team that's just struggling all as hell, and then you go do your little
right,
timeout and you do your kumbaya song, and then you get put on with the two best guys in
right.
hockey right now. And yet, you know, you bet wherever Perry goes,
You're going to the
Sorry, is
finals.
just going crazy on this, but yeah, you're going to the finals. You don't
Right.
win, but you go to the
Right.
finals. He went to the Lightning, didn't win. I think he went with the
Right.
Canadians, didn't win. He goes to Edmonton, didn't win.
Right. Yes.
So my better choice is wherever Perry's at, you
Right.
bet that team to
Right.
win the
He was
West.
actually in Tampa Bay when they lost that year in the finals, the third year. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yes.
All right.
Oh,
Excellent
it's
as
the
usual,
best.
my friend Scott. Good. I hope you heal up, okay? Just heal up, okay? Just
Oh,
understand what's going on with the body, okay? Everybody else out there, like and
you know.
subscribe. What are you gonna say? Go ahead.
It would have been a better story if I said I jumped like
Oh
off
yeah.
30-foot jump or
Oh
something. Like
yeah.
I like literally went in a tournament, boom, and then it kept sliding.
Oh, it
Okay,
does. God bless you. All right, that's it for today. We'll see you soon on Off the Rails.
where where are you at?